president of Aegon Sports and Entertainment, an ownership partner of the Green Jackets. Before purchasing the Green Jackets, he worked in various capacities for Mandalay Sports, Entertainment, and Ripton Baseball.
The 2017 season marks Mr. Tom Dinger's 16th year working in minor league baseball and 4th as the general manager of the Green Jackets. Prior to Augusta, Tom worked for the Richmond Flying Squirrels, Daytona Cubs, and Philmarva Shorebirds. A native of Paradise, PA, Tom graduated from Messiah College with a degree in sports management.
Thank you. Good morning. Can't believe how many people showed up here today to celebrate Bob's birthday. Somewhere I have a clicker in my pocket. Here we go. Well, I'm here today to talk about a little project we've kind of been working on that I'm not sure many people are aware of. Was tentatively known as Project Jackson to those that are in the know, but the site is referred to as Riverside Village. I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about Riverside Village at Hammond's Ferry, but more importantly, about the ballpark at Riverside Village. I'm going off of, there we go, sorry, my bad. I got handed the mic. Where does this go? Okay. Do I need to start all over, or we all good? All right. So we don't want anybody stopping on the 13th Street Bridge and overlooking on their left or their right, depending on which direction they're coming from, and causing an accident. But if you were to look, you would see an image that's quite like this. And for those of you that were wondering, I know we have many members of the media that have been following this story for several years. Yes, it is really, really happening. And it's going to be amazing. I know that a picture tells 1,000 words, and a lot of people can't really see what is happening here. But I don't know how well that image really shows up for people in the back here, but what you're looking at here is the first base lower grandstands, and you can kind of see tracking from above. We have a really tremendous construction camp back there, and I happen to have some images that sort of track to this. And then you can kind of see a ballpark evolving out of the construction that's happening down there. So here's what's happening, because it is more than just a ballpark. It is a village. This is going to be a live, work, play environment. Obviously, there will be a ballpark, which we're going to talk much more about today. There's going to be a Crown Plaza Hotel that has 180 rooms and a conference center. Todd, if I'm saying anything that isn't true or has been updated since I put this slide together, feel free to yell it out or correct me in private later. There'll be 280 apartment units. There'll be 32 outfield apartments, which will be in a building in left field. Which I believe also will have 13,000 square feet of fitness. Retail and restaurant space of about 55,000 square feet. Within the district, there'll be over almost 170,000 square feet of office with 108,000 square feet on site. This will be Class A office, as well as residential flats, senior living, parking of over about 1,700 spaces that are down between here and the site itself, single-family homes, and obviously the Greenway and Riverfront Park. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about this because this really isn't my universe. This is more Todd's and the council's and the mayor's, but we will have a hotel conference center down there. This is still rendering. I don't believe this is a final, complete, approved image, but nonetheless, that's occurring. Many of you have probably seen this video. If you haven't, we can certainly make it available, but for time and for the fact that it's a Friday and you all don't want me here speaking until 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'll skip going through the few minutes of this video here. But I do want to talk about Riverside Village. This gives you kind of an overview of what this will look like upon full build out. So the first year, yeah, you'll have the ballpark and there'll be some parking available down there as well. But, you know, the village that's going to be built out, there'll be a big chunk of retail and restaurants that'll be open. But the hotel is slated to open, I believe, November of 18. So just a few short months after our season ends. This gives you a view off the Greenway here of what, you know, what's planned for this project. And wanted to kind of share with you, this is what you're going to be entering into when you come down Center Street and you're heading down to the new ballpark. This ballpark is designed not just for a ball game, but for social experiences. This is not like anything you've seen before. This is not like Olmsted. So for many people in here, and those that aren't baseball fans that are probably wondering, why would you need a new ballpark? What's wrong with Lake Olmsted? And I'm not here to denigrate Lake Olmsted. It's been our home for almost 30 years, and she has served her purpose. But it was built in a different time in a different place, and that's not what the game is all about anymore. This place is designed to bring not only the community together, but the entire CSRA together. Every part of this ballpark is designed for a social experience and to give people a unique engagement, not just with baseball, but with their community. For starters, there'll be a 360-degree concourse, and you'll be able to experience the game in a whole unique way. So what that means is you'll be able to walk around the entire ballpark in 360 degrees. And everywhere you go around that 360 degrees, you're going to find a new experience and a new way not only to view the game, but to interact with people. The river is part of this experience. So if you've been out to Lake Olmsted, sure, we got water over there. We got Lake Olmsted. But it sits in the front of our stadium where behind home plate, not in our outfield, not for something that people can interact with. There aren't any spaces really in the entire CSRA where the community can really interact with the water without having to get into a canoe or a paddle boat or do something along those lines. There's no restaurants, there's no shopping, there's no social experiences. Unless you want to walk down to, to the Riverwalk on the Augusta side of it, and you want to stand out behind the Marriott and stare out at the water, there really isn't any way to interact with it. And unless you're going to go walking or running or biking on the Greenway, you're not really going to get to experience. This village is meant and designed to bring the river experience to everybody. And the ballpark is a major centerpiece of that. Just to give you an idea of how much that is, what you're looking at here, and we'll talk a little bit more about this in a few minutes, but that's our home run porch. In the center there is our picnic area. But you can see just how close that river is to everything that we're doing and how it's integrated into this design. So I stole a quote. I was going to show a movie clip here, but I wasn't sure how well the audio would going to work here. And yes, Field of Dreams obviously gets overplayed when you talk about new ballpark construction, and they'll watch the game, and it'll be as they dip themselves in magic waters, and they will come. This is McCovey Cove at AT&T Park out in San Francisco. Now, obviously, McCovey Cove has got a little bit more room. It's a little deeper, and it's a cove. It's not a river that's flowing and rolling. But that's our parent club, the San Francisco Giants facility. This ballpark is designed with a lot of elements that AT&T Park out in San Francisco have done because it's one of the best ballparks in the country. Not just for where it's located and its site, but the way that the Giants have integrated their social experiences. And we're trying to mimic some of that because we've been a Giants affiliate for, I think, like 12 years now. So we think they do a great job. And because we have a waterway, we figure there's those opportunities for us to have our own McCovey Cove. Now, it is a shot, but doesn't mean it can't be done. Our home run porch that we talked about a few minutes ago here will be a very popular destination. You'll not only be able to look out and interact with the river and drink rails on both sides, but you'll be able to watch the ball game up there as well. And it's part of that social aspect of going through the venue 360 degrees. These are just some images to kind of show you the experience. Obviously, I think this rendering here was not taken at one of the July or August games, but probably one of the early April games when the weather's still really nice out. There's that same guy again. I think this is a day game. He's got his sunglasses on. But there are other elements besides just the home run porch out here. There's a beer garden that is connected to the restaurant site that you're seeing here that will not only be open 365 days a year, but it will also open into the ballpark. So if anybody's been to SunTrust Park, show of hands, anybody been to the new Atlanta Braves Stadium here? Not many people make it to Atlanta. That's all right. We don't need you to go down there anymore. You got something better coming here. But in Atlanta, you know, they have the Top of the Chop at the old Turner Field, and they have the Terrapin Tap Room now, which is barbecue and beers, and they got microbrew and all that. And it's open not only to their Battery District, which is similar in a lot of regards to Riverside Village that we're doing over here, but it also will be open to the public 365, and then there's a stadium aspect where you'll literally be able to go have dinner and walk right through and come into the ball game, or be able to sit and watch the ball game and have dinner and get the same experience. This is some views of the beer garden. You'll be able to see the video board in here. I don't know quite what your vantage point for actually watching the ball game in the beer garden will be like, but hopefully you're tipping back a couple pints and taking Uber and you're enjoying yourself anyway. What you're looking at here is obviously a 3D virtual venue tour that will be available and live, and I'll talk about a little bit more about how this is going to work and deposits and everything else. But even if you're not interested in ever coming to a game and you just want to show this off to your friends, this site will be live at some point next week. But just to kind of give you an idea, as you kind of go through and you scroll the bar over, it'll show you the seating views and the pricing for deposits all throughout the venue. So if you're interested in knowing what's the story with these seats right behind home plate. So what this allows us to do is show you the seating. (360 degrees around the ballpark. Because we can't get you all down on the site while it's a construction site, this makes it a little bit easier for you all at home to be able to see, all right, yeah, I'm interested in seats over here. This would be great. Here's my deposit. You're in the system, and then we'll reach out to you. We can contact you, but now you have an idea of what the seats are going to look like versus one of our reps going, we got seats in, section 102, and nobody knows what any of that means. So that is our virtual venue. We'll have a full 2018 North Augusta site that should be live before next week, and or before the end of next week, and we'll get that out to the media and everybody in here, and you'll be able to take advantage of that. So now let me see if I can get back to our presentation. And it did work. Look at that. So we only waste about 3 minutes of time here. This right here is our club level. This is another really unique aspect that we certainly didn't have out at Lake Olmsted. Clearly, being in the southeast, it gets a little warm sometimes. We really lack climate-controlled areas inside of our current venue. This venue not only has shading with an overhang, but it also has indoor spaces where people can still watch the ball game, but they can socialize. So what you're seeing here where that big yellow circle is our physical club space, indoor club space. There are 197 seats in the club on the first base side and 84 on the third base side. All of our club seating will include access to both of these clubs. They have a private entrance, which I'll show you. And which you can't see in that little picture here, is they're all padded seats. So they're a little more comfortable than your normal seating, and you'll have a drink holder or drink rail that'll be in front of those seats. And the pricing for these seating depends on where you're looking to sit and what kind of commitment you're looking at making, but anywhere from about $800 up to about $1,500. That's the private entrance. That takes you up to that area. You can get up there beyond the private entrance, but there is a designated private entryway for it. And this is kind of what the experience will be like inside of the club. You have a bar, there's not only beer being served up there, but hard alcohol as well for those that want to imbibe while they're at a ball game. Seats along the glass on the left side overlooks the playing field itself, and then there's seating directly in front of it that you can walk out to that you'll have your own seats for. And then on the right side overlooks the village. Here's just some other images. This space is very functional. We'll be utilizing it throughout the year. It'll be able to be set up for conference rooms, being able to do something like we're doing here today, as well as classroom style. But there's also an outdoor space. Now, I don't have the greatest images of this because I had to kind of bootleg them from our video, but there is an outdoor patio space that will be a lot nicer than the images that you're going to see here. But give you some concepts here where you can walk in and you can walk outside, and it can be set up and it's functional in a lot of different ways where people can just hang out and overlook the people inside the village and the hotel, or stare out at the river, as well as be able to, host private functions out there. Somebody's getting married out on the green, and then you have the event and dancing inside. But that's not the only social aspect that we have. We also have our suites. I'm excited to say, and sad to say to some regards, and I know there's some people in this room that are like, wait a minute, I talked to you. Yes, I know, we got you down, but we've had to take the rest off of sale. We physically have overcommitments on our suite sales, which is really unbelievable considering we've never really gone public with this. So these are obviously our highest end seating options, and they're completely gone right now, and we're taking waiting lists for these. But these are samples of what the suites will look like. They'll be a little bit more personalized, but gives you kind of an idea of what the suites will look like. But those aren't the only really cool seating options that we have inside the ballpark. We have our area which is directly behind home plate. We have two areas here, but one that I wanted to kind of show you specifically, which is in our 100 section, which is like our outside mini boxes. And what these are your own personal little outdoor seats right behind home plate, and kind of show you how that is, what that'll be set up with. You'll have waiter waitress service available there. What's not being shown there is the plans for us to have tablets that are set up to this that provide you all the different camera views of everything inside the venue. I mean, from a ballpark perspective. Not from a security perspective, but being able to see, all different angles of the ball games, as well as being able to order food right from your table, being able to credit card swipe right there, doing anything that you want to do there. But this is really more akin to what you see out at Dodger Stadium and their little Hollywood Bowl seating that they had that's been out there for probably 50 years out at Dodger Stadium, but a really unique concept out here. But the seating here will be even more special because we're planning on putting in the mesh seating, the breathable mesh seating that the Braves have installed all over the place here, that will, instead of being on a hard base like that, we're looking at having those on casters so people will be able to move around and enjoy that a little bit easier. But one of the aspects of this venue is that all the seating will be theater style seats. There's no metal bleachers in this ballpark. There's no fiberglass seating. This is all hard theater style seats with a lot of padded seats, but they're wide. They have their own cup holders. This ballpark's been designed with a little bit more comfort in mind than the stadiums that were designed in the early 90s. One of the other functions is LED lighting. And typically, like you see at most ballparks, experience is a metal halide system. It's kind of old school. It's also very expensive. It's not very green. When you see the stadium bulbs and they take a little bit of time to warm up and get going, that's a metal halide system. This one would shock your eyes, as I experienced out at SunTrust Park at a concert a couple weeks back. When it's all dark and you got the artist performing, and then when it's time to go home, it's like a light switch. Boom, they flick it, and there's like 1 billion watts right in your eyes in a second. We won't have quite that kind of candle power, but this lighting is pretty state of the art. Uh-oh. I think the battery died. Oh, there we go. Okay. So this was a video I got the other day, but this kind of shows you some of the unique elements that this system can do. Will this play it? Maybe not. Here we go. Ever see that at Lake Olmsted? So when we have home runs, we're introducing the players. We're doing something special out there. We don't mean to give anybody an epileptic seizure, and we won't. But that's not all it does. These are just some of the things that LED can do that you can't do with the metal halide system. But we're not even done. That's just our field lighting. But we're also planning on, and I'll skip ahead. You don't have to watch 5 minutes of of lighting features. You'll have to come out to a game and you can see this. Is colored LEDs. So no, we're not going to play a ball game bathed in red lights or green lights or blue lights, but this provides us the ability to, not only when we're, let's say it's Masters Week and you got IBM doing an event out there, we can bathe the whole ballpark in blue. You're hosting your own company outing out there and you want a color effect, we have the ability to do that. But it also gives us the ability to create really unique effects for baseball when we're playing ball games and we hit a home run and it's dark enough out, we can bathe the field in green and orange or whatever we want to do and really create some unique aspects and do some unique things, as well as front light the front of the stadium and create some cool experiences. We've had some discussions. I don't think this is in our first phase, but you know, ideally, particularly if we can work with both sides of the river, light the 13th Street Bridge and do something really cool with that as well and make that a visual aspect of the region. These are just examples of where lighting is these days versus where it was back in 1990. So now I want to talk to you about our other technologies that we have inside the ballpark, which is our video display systems. We're going to have a video board of roughly 22 feet in height and 42 feet wide, along with 3 6x80 LED ribbon display boards. You're not going to see a ton of static signage like you'd see out at Lake Olmsted, which sometimes looks like bad NASCAR. This will be a very clean look, but everything will be automated. So for our sponsors that are out there, you know, if Coca-Cola, you'll be able to see a Coke bottle pouring in left field into a glass in right field. If you're Toyota, you'll be able to see a car driving across the entire outfield, basically, and integrated throughout the facility. There's also, from a food and beverage standpoint, we'll have the digital menu boards, which are pretty much commonplace at a lot of restaurants now. There's about 36 points of sale, not just with our primary concessions, but with portables that are throughout the stadium. So for those that have suffered in any of our lines at Lake Olmsted, we apologize. It may hold 4,000 people, but sometimes the concession space there was designed for about 1,000. So this ballpark will be designed to be able to get people in and get people out. Current pricing out at Lake Olmsted is around $6 to $16 a person. So a lot of people are like, well, this looks like a whole lot of fancy ballpark. This is going to cost me a fortune. Well, our new stadium, most of our pricing is going to range from $6 to $17. And 90% of our seating is probably going to average around under $10 when we open. In addition, our club and our suites and our premium spaces, we're talking about $800 to $1,500 a seat. I'm not saying those are necessarily inexpensive, but they're also very reasonable when you look at what the rest of baseball is charging. We've been very price sensitive in how we're going to market. And as I said, the suites are sold out. So this isn't just a baseball park. And that's one of the things that, you know, we've been trying to be very careful not to promote that this is, yes, this is a home to the Green Jackets, but this is an outdoor event center. This is a community center. We plan to be very active programming it. In the first year, it'll be a little slower because a lot of promoters and events that are looking to go, they're going to take that little wait and see, make sure you're open and you're rolling. But over the next couple of years, we fully anticipate being busy, around 200 dates a year, including the Green Jackets in here. And we're going to look to be very busy during Masters Week. We're going to be having conversations and hopes of being able to bring some spring training games up here, maybe not always on an annual basis, but look to see if we can get on the calendar here to bring a Major League Baseball exhibition game up here as well. Todd and I have spent time working on this, but we've had conversations with Clemson and South Carolina. I don't know if we'll ever get the two of them to play each other in our ballpark. I won't say never, but I suspect that we'll be able to at least get both of those down here to play a game against somebody, whether it's USC Aiken or Augusta University or whomever it may be, or whether it's, a Clemson Georgia game or a Georgia Tech South Carolina game. But our plan is to get active in the major college baseball space out at that venue. We'll certainly be doing concerts out there. We'll be looking at the traveling type of X Game shows with like the Nitro circuses of the world, where you got the Nitro bikes that are doing crazy stunts and pretty cool stuff out there. We'll be doing tons of company outings and team buildings, holiday parties. We look to be active with a lot of festivals and other sporting events and showcases, and working with the regional sports commissions here in ways that we can help put heads in beds, fill up those hotel spaces, and bring the tourism to town. We have some tremendous amateur sports parks in our region, but sometimes having a really dynamic place to have a showcase can help take those tournaments to another level, and we'd like to aid in that. We'll also be looking at weddings and proms and banquets and small trade shows. We're even looking at the winter, which is normally a dead spot for a lot of sports venues, but you're seeing more and more sports teams that are getting active in this space, whether it's putting in outdoor ice rinks. We've even seen people that have put in huge slides, and they've done snow tubing out at those ballparks. And we're going to be looking at all those things, as well as being active during holiday events. So with that said, we have some of you may have noticed this already or seen the announcements, but next week we will be officially hosting our groundbreaking ceremony at 12 o'clock. I think there'll be shuttles that will be leaving from this building around 11:30 noon. I don't know, what are we, Todd, do we know? Is that up till noon? So you'd want to be here before noon to get on the shuttle to go down there or take the walk by the brick ponds. But this is a pretty amazing day. I want to thank our city leadership for sticking with us as we've worked through this. This has taken a long time. We're very proud of this. I think this community is going to be very, very proud of this too. I know that there's always been some naysayers that don't believe in these projects or don't understand why they do this thing, but I think as people will see as this thing opens, they're going to be like, wow, and they're going to wonder what took so long. So thank you all for giving me your time and attention today. Hopefully I didn't waste anybody's time. With that being said, I want to introduce Tom Denlinger, our general manager. He's going to say a couple words and share with you, what we're doing on the sales and marketing front.
Thanks, Jeff. I think Terry just wanted you all to see my mustache. That's why I get to talk today. If you haven't noticed, we're doing Mustache May for Special Olympics. So I'll do a little plug if you want to donate. We're trying to raise $5,000, and then one of our season ticket holders is going to shave for the first time in 25 years. So we'll see if that works. But this was a minor league baseball presentation, so before I get into how you can get into the action for 2018, we have to give something away. So I brought 2 autographed balls, and we got 2 trivia questions. I don't know if I'm going to let Ed answer, because I know he knows the answers. But if everyone else can see, who was the pitcher this year that threw the first 9-inning no-hitter ever in the history of the South Atlantic League? Does anyone know? Ed might have to answer. Or Ed might not know either.
I know who it is, but I don't think I'm eligible.
We might have to make these a little easier. All right, well, I'll tell you who it was.
What's our team colors?
Does anyone know our slogan? The hint is, hey, all right, the no-hitter is Dominic Mazza. He threw a no-hitter this year. He's also known for giving up the first home run to Tim Tebow. I don't know if you may know him. He plays for the Columbia Fireflies and was on Late Night with somebody last night. So I don't know how he's playing baseball and getting on late night, but good for him. All right, one more question. We'll see if anyone knows this. Who can anyone name anyone that's in the Green Jackets Hall of Fame? No, he's not quite in yet. Yeah. He may make it at some point. Who said that? Yeah, Madison Bumgarner is in, even though he's currently on the DL because he doesn't know how to ride a motorcycle. But anyway, I want to thank you all for coming. We have a table out back. Greg will be standing there, and you can put your information down. We'll be taking deposits starting next week when this all goes live for season tickets, and also gives you information on the different opportunities throughout the ballpark. But we're very excited. Obviously, I'd be remiss if I said we do have the final season at Lake Homestead Stadium. We have a 7-game homestand starting this Monday, and we have fireworks on Sunday. A little new tradition for Memorial Day, so if you're not doing anything, come on out. Kids 12 and under get in for free if you're a Junior Jackets member. But it's an exciting season. We can't wait, obviously. The countdown is already on for next year, so we look forward to obviously being neighbors and having a great celebration here. So if you have any questions, see Greg, me, or Jeff, and otherwise, thanks.